10-day retreat rounds off, and in the last day you get to talk to people again. And actually, before we go into the last day, I'll say another thing. I also noticed there was a few times like you would hear like some kind of voice talking to you, like trying to get your attention, like calling your name, like hey, hey, hey. And as you're doing that, you would see little flashes of light in your third eye. And again, I don't care, man. I'm just doing here Vipassana. Get out of the way, you know? You have to be very strict. You start noticing that many beings are vying for your attention. For what? What do you want from me? Nothing. Get out of the way, you know? And their intention is unknown, and henceforth are a complete distraction. So you ignore them and you carry on. Now, after the first 10-day session, okay, the last day, you talk to everybody out there, and some people are somewhere close to where you are, and they're just like, we're just giving each other hugs, man. It's like, do we need to say anything? You know, like, were you there too? It's like, yeah. And then I said, yo, did you feel like you were getting mind linked with other people around here? Like there was a collective conscious net? And they're like, I was afraid to ask you. And I said, well, I'm not afraid of asking anything anymore, you know? I don't care. My world's been turned upside down already 2, 3, 4 years ago, man, and none of this was supposed to be real. So I don't care anymore. And they're just like, oh man, I'm so glad you asked that. And we were all there. And I just thought to myself, I'm in this, man. I'm doing this every year, you know? And then I remember also at the session they talked about towards the later days when you really get somewhere, because there's also students in there that have done this multiple sessions now. This might be their 10th time or something like that, right? Really hardcore guys. Inspiring, to put it mildly. And they would talk about they would talk about reaching a state where you experience what they call the Brahmic plane, the plane of the gods, the dimension of the all beings. The only problem is that it doesn't seem to interact back very often. You just experience that it's there, and you know you're kind of there. Your mind sort of popped into this realm like a gopher, and it's like, whoa, this is an expansive, huge place. And you get yourself back down to the normal level after breaching through. But it doesn't talk back often. I don't know why. Maybe the gods don't care, you know? They don't have anything to say. Maybe it depends on who's going in there. But I breached that too. I was there. I was like, whoa. And immediately breaching that plane, it comes with a conditional awareness that you're there, the Brahmic space, the plane of the gods. And I discussed that with some of the other guys too, and I was like, did you have anything like that? And they're like, yeah, a little bit, you know. Everybody's kind of got their own little trajectory of experiences. Anyways, I go back to my home. Some of these guys I've made, you know, Facebook friends with now to keep in contact. And a lot of the first timers, you know, all the first time class, we kind of have a lot of like, yay, collective camaraderie. First of all, it was really, really tough, just physically, you know. This is 2017. This was like January, February 2017. The rest of 2017 is a sublime year. Everything's going great, amazing. And I continue to maintain a baseline meditative practice at home. Although I don't do a full 1 hour or anything like that, I regress down to like 20, 15 minutes every day. but I apply the same meditative techniques when I'm doing my training, right? Like I do like CrossFit I was doing for a while, things like that, lifting weights. And when your body's aching and it's sore, it's very hard, then you can apply the same singular focus type of thing and body scan and persevere through it. 2017 is a sublime year, everything's cool. I'm delving more into mystical Buddhism, if you want to call it that. And many weird things happen, man. Oh, you hear things. And you become clearly aware that there are other beings, spiritual beings. And at this time I just get really into like those UFO documentaries, because I've read enough Arthur C. Clarke sci-fi books. And I'm like, there's so many stars out there, there must be, there was this Drake equation, probability 1, about the fact that the mathematical, statistical chance that there's other planets with probably complex life is extremely high. Now the big conundrum is why the heck haven't they made like contact or whatever, but I was really getting into that, geeking out about it. Sort of like UFO meets Buddhism, and it's fun, And this is where it gets strange, because I started to notice, by this time you've already done enough reviews so you can tell what it is your mind does normally all on its own. If you get thoughts in your head, you will know. First of all, the baseline chatter in your brain is reduced down to a bare minimum. It's not like it used to be. And this happens for dedicated meditation practitioners. It's something that happens before the really weird stuff happens, right? So it's sort of like somebody that graduated like high school of meditation before you go to college. So that's established. But now I notice there's almost like this thing that's able to bring up thoughts and transmit thoughts to you. And it's weirdly able to know even maybe things in your memory. And I started to read Esen Goenka, the Vipassana teacher's writings on their collective experience after having thousands of people do this for many, many years. Because he was really into the idea of disseminating this type of meditation to the world, because it was assumed to be so beneficial in this world broken by unreviewed man, right? And one of the things that it said was some practitioners that have gone really far claim to get to a state of what can be roughly termed as almost a state of mild telepathy. And I was starting to pick up on that. And I noticed, wait a minute, there's something there again. And I would only apply Vipassana meditation techniques to sort of nod care. But the thing that was in there or around that keeps digging in and trying to put something in your head, it's less than constructive. I'm gonna try not to curse. It's a jerk. All it tries to do is make you, it's almost like somebody with like this mental rumination on things that make them have very low self-esteem. I was like, what kind of disease entered my brain? What kind of freak is this, It didn't bother me though, I just observed it went on. And once in a while towards the end of 2017, it felt like something came in my head, also another thing, and it was like, are you sure you're on the right path? And I was like, yeah, well, it's the only path I've ever known that have given me this, and I've put in the work and I've seen so much, this got to be it, Nirvana, as the Buddha talked about, we will be there soon. And I had sort of self-diagnosed my situation as being what a lot of Buddhists might call a stream enterer, right? Although I never yet had the experience of reading my previous lives, I was definitely sold on the idea that there must have been multiple reincarnations, because I took the whole Buddhist cosmology and metaphysics, because I'd like experienced so much that surely this was part of it too. I had faith in it by now. But I hadn't had anything like where I got visions of my past lives or anything like that. I was still really careful to let my mind just run wild. You know, I was like, no, I'm not gonna BS this. So I kind of diagnosed in many that they have a tendency to do so, and I don't have the appetite for that. You know, to each their own, but I'm not going to do that.